Hi, I'm Matthew Mackenzie, aka Outback Matty. I'm going to talk a little bit about my life before 15 and my upbringing as a child, the difficult stages I went through and so on. At the age of 8, my dad and my mum split. Mum suffered a mental illness, which was her thyroid problem, and dad became an alcoholic. It was very difficult at the time because I was always moving homes and moving schools. And it then led for me to find it very difficult to make new friends and to keep old friends, and so it was very hard for me. I was always bullied and I was known from a sister or a brother from another school, so I kind of was labelled as the sort of disturbed kid. I didn't really last long at school. I got expelled 3 times from 2 different schools. I suffered ADHD, which was a deficit hyperactive disorder. By mixing with these wrong crowds of kids led me to obviously do things like drugs, alcohol and crime. I remember at the age of 14 I had my first criminal record, which I'm not proud of. And these things just all affected my life as a child. It wasn't until sort of the age of 18 that I thought I should start to do something with my life. My life at the time was, involved with drugs and crime, and that's all I did. At one stage I was homeless. I was homeless for about 3 months. I lived in an abandoned water tower, and I was living off food out of a church. It was dark and it was scary as well. I felt like I had no one in my life. I freaked out on a whole heap of drugs and the ambulance took me away. I ended up eventually in a psych ward, so I was locked up for 4 days in a padded cell. That was very hard for me and something that I would never want to sort of experience again. Once I got out of the psych ward, I started to come off these drugs ever so slowly, but was still heavily addicted, and it led to depression. I was depressed for a good 9 months, and it was very hard because I didn't have any family support or any friend support. There were points in my life where I felt like killing myself, where I stood on the edge of the bridge and I could remember seeing the bottom of the rocks, the bed of the rocks of the river. There was no water and I stood on the side of the bridge and I just wanted to end my life, but I didn't, thankfully. Eventually I'd overcome my depression and I felt like I needed to get off my ass and do something, and I wasn't really the motivated kind of guy. I started off by picking veggies, which I thoroughly enjoyed because it gave me money in my pocket for me to spend on alcohol and get drunk, so that's why I enjoyed it. And then from there I moved up and I was a farmer for three years in Victoria. Milking cows wasn't the best of jobs. I hated waking up at 3:30 in the morning and getting shat on the head by a cow. Things were starting to look up and I decided that I'd finish up farming and I wanted to move on and do something that I was more passionate about, a career that I was passionate about. And the sad thing is, at the time I didn't have that dream of what I wanted to do or wanted to be in life. I applied for Jamie Oliver's 15 Melbourne. I heard that Jamie was coming to Australia, so I applied for it. And believe it or not, out of 28,000 applicants for Jamie's Kitchen Australia, I was one of the top 100 that made it to the selection process. So I was very, very, very thankful. The opportunity there was just a once in a lifetime thing where I just had to grab it by the balls. So that's what I did. The thing with 15 is it's a rehabilitation program to help underprivileged, disadvantaged kids like myself to make a life and a future and be successful in their life. I couldn't have done anything without 15's help. During the program, they provided a counsellor, which was very valuable to me because I had a lot of issues outside the program. I had a lot of issues inside the program, and it was always good to know that I could have someone to talk to on my level. They would always lower themselves to my level and talk to me so I could talk about my problems quite easily. So I think I've learnt so much more from the 15 program than the fact that it's just, you know, food, and Jamie set it up for the food, and that it's everything that comes under the food, the support, the helping, the good friendships, and so on. I graduated successfully from 15 in 2008. Since 2008, I went on to working for Australia's best three-hat French restaurant, Vue de Monde, which is located in Melbourne, under the world-renowned chef Shannon Bennett. I spent a year at Vue de Monde, and then I got offered a job in Japan. So one of my latest achievements was I flew to Japan and I launched an Olympic restaurant for Australia's first winter gold medalist, Stephen Bradbury. Now I'm back in Queensland and I'm living it up in the beautiful sunny Queensland, and I've got myself a position at Old Government House as the head chef running the kitchen there. So that's great. And yeah, that's really about it.